Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another soccer video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the game between the US Women's National Team and New Zealand. So it's bright and early right now. At least it's not 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning. It was good that the game started at 7. I think more people were willing to get up and watch it. But if you did see this game, if you were able to see this game, it was actually a really good game to watch. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's start with the lineup. So the starting 11, we have Alyssa Nair in the goal. For our defenders, Crystal Dunn, Tierna Davidson, Abby Dowkemper, and Emily Sonnet. For midfield, we have Lindsay Haran, we have Julie Ertz in her center midfield position, and Rose Lavelle. And for forwards, we have Megan Pinot, Carly Lloyd, and Tobin Heath. So I did take some notes on the lineup. So yeah, overall the lineup looks good. It's good that Becky Sauerbrunn and Kelly O'Hara are resting right now, especially after that game against Sweden. Tierna Davidson and Emily Sonnet, great. I mean, my request for Emily Sonnet to start has been approved, so that's good. Midfield also looks good too, with Julie Ertz now starting in her center midfield position. I did say in previous videos I wasn't sure if she would be able to keep up during the Olympics and during these games, but it appears as though she has recovered just fine, and I'll gladly eat my words. Rose Lavelle, as always, very fast-moving player. Her speed is always needed and appreciated. For forwards, it's good to see Carly Lloyd starting. I'm guessing in the second half, her and Megan Pinot could be getting subbed out for Alex Morgan or Kristen Press. Yeah, overall the lineup is strong. There is very strong goal-scoring energy here. I'm a little surprised to not see Sam Mewis, but I wouldn't be surprised if Flacco decides to put her and maybe Christie in during the second half. Okay, first half, we're off. U.S. Women's National Team, strong possession early on, aggressive playing, which would have been great to see during Sweden. Better and cleaner passing in this game compared to the Sweden game. Putting a lot of pressure on New Zealand too, which is great. A good choice by Nair to block and pick up the ball right away just to be safe. I'm still, at this point in the game, I'm still not happy with the US defensively. So an attempt outside the box by Pinot. US is keeping up a good pace in this game. I love the speed of how fast moving this game is going. It's a very fast-paced game if you were able to watch it. So Rose Lavelle is able to find an opening in New Zealand's defense, and she places the ball in the net. US 1-0. Nice. Okay, let's keep US women's team keeping it up. More speed, more pressure. US seems like they attempted another set piece, but nothing comes from it. So New Zealand gets down by the US goal. Good tackle by Rose. Emily Sonnet is getting tripped up. I think she gets tripped up twice in this game. But yeah, US at this point needs to be patient and needs to stop giving New Zealand opportunities. The US is now by New Zealand's goal with a corner and is headed away by New Zealand. Just an observation, but throughout this first half, Rose Lavelle just looks so busy. Whenever I look up, she is just darting up and down the field or just darting all over the field. Which is good. Always good to have Rose Lavelle randomly moving around. Or I wouldn't say randomly, just moving around in general, looking for those opportunities for goals. There's another attempt on New Zealand's goal by Carly Lloyd, but it goes wide. Another US corner, and nothing comes from it. Yeah, this was the second time Emily Sonnet gets tripped up outside New Zealand's box. Yeah, she got tripped up, but it was kind of funny. US is still going hard and keeping up their possession, which is great. They're looking far better in this game than they did against Sweden, but then again, Sweden was controlling the pace of this game. Sweden was controlling the pace of the game against the US, and it's in this game, US is maintaining a strong possession and is keeping up control, which is something that they need to do going forward. Tobin gets another goal, but this time it's once again it's disallowed for being offsides. Yeah, that's frustrating, especially since it would have been a great goal because it was a good assist by Crystal Dunn. Going forward, there's another goal for the US by Pino, but really offsides again. So 3 goals by the US are offsides. I don't know. I don't think I wrote it down, but I think it was Rose that she went for a second goal. She went for the second goal, but she ended up getting offsides. So far there are like 3 US goals that are ruled as offsides. Yeah, the US just needs to keep fighting for those goals. It's disheartening that the goals weren't allowed and were offsides, but the US has to keep pressing. They'll get it eventually. Goal by Lindsey Horan declared offside, so 4 US goals declared offsides. At this point, I'm wondering, like, what is going on? It's like, yes, this is frustrating, but the US doesn't need to be sloppy right now. Good save by Nair after a New Zealand attempt. Yeah, the US is maintaining possession, which is great. They're appearing to slow down just a bit, but we're starting to kind of near the end of the first half, so hopefully the US can get more goals that won't be offsides in the second half. I did note that the US does need to clean up their passes. They were looking so good earlier. Their passes were looking great earlier, but they could be getting frustrated due to the disallowed goals. And I mean, yeah, who wouldn't be? Like, I would be feeling frustrated too if 4 goals in a row were disallowed. Header by New Zealand goes wide, a corner for the US, and finally, US gets their second goal courtesy of Lindsey Horan. So the US 2-0. And either it was because of my lack of sleep, but I wrote, you know what's amazing? No, not the fact that it was Lindsey Horan, which my channel seems to be focused on, dedicated to, and who I always end up talking about somehow, but it was actually, that goal was actually allowed and not offsides. Can't believe, like, 4 goals in a row were declared offsides. I don't know. The commentators can talk about that. Okay, so US corner, nothing comes from it, but the first half is over. First half over already. Overall, exciting first half. The US kept up the pace and maintained a strong possession. It was recorded 64% US possession in the first half compared to New Zealand's 36% possession. Lots of action in this game. The disallowed goals were frustrating, but it didn't deter the US women's national team. They hung in there. I love seeing the tenacity of the US in this game, and they honestly have to keep it up moving forward against their game against Australia, because that's not going to be an easy one. Alright, now we're on to the second half. We're off again. US getting control back. New Zealand fouls Lindsey Horan, but she's good to go. She gets up. New Zealand is coming out strong and aggressive. US just needs to keep up possession and maintain control. And if the US could stop losing the ball, that would be awesome too. Collision between Julie Ertz and New Zealand player while in the New Zealand box. Julie Ertz is fine, a little slow to get up, but she is okay. Great to see US putting pressure on New Zealand. There's another collision between Lindsey Horan and New Zealand, and then a couple minutes later, there's another collision between Carly Lloyd and New Zealand. The player that was injured, the New Zealand player, was injured, and I think she was taken off the field and was subbed out. Yeah, I would say that the US needs to be careful with these collisions or running into one another. You don't want to get hurt or injured this early on in the games. So there was a good attempt by Carly Lloyd. At this point, I'm wondering when Vlatko will be making substitutions, because New Zealand was making substitutions already. Yeah, I was wondering when Vlatko will be making substitutions, and if he was making substitutions. I would understand if he was going to be saving Kristen Press and Alex Morgan for Australia. That would make sense if he didn't want to put him in during this game. US at this point is in control and staying by New Zealand's goal. And oh my god, holy crap, own goal with an assist by Carly Lloyd. Yeah, the New Zealand player tried to head it away, but it went into the net over New Zealand's goalkeeper. I probably would have let the keeper get to that instead of trying to head it away. I feel like that almost never works. So US 3-0. Corner for New Zealand, but picked up by Alyssa Nair. New Zealand player shoves Rose aside at some point in the game and does take a shot on the goal, but it was an easy save by Alyssa Nair. And now the substitutions. Sam Mewis and Kristen Press come in for Rose Lavelle and Megan Pinot respectively. Just want to note that Lindsay Horan looks good in this game. I thought there was a yellow for Julie Ertz, but I couldn't tell. It looked like the referee's whistle. Okay, there's a goal for New Zealand. Nair made a block but didn't hold on to the ball, but that's kind of besides the point. Just why was the defense so open? They really got to tighten up. It's small mistakes like those that make it easy for teams to find an opening and get a goal and take a shot and get a goal. So they really need to tighten up the defense, or they really need to work on the defense. I would say the defense, it was a little bit better, but they just need to tighten it up by a lot. So US 3-1. Substitution, Alex Morgan does come in for Carly Lloyd. I noted at this point, because New Zealand kept getting to the ball and kept getting possession. Yeah, the US needs to get possession back, stop giving chances to New Zealand, keep maintaining that control. There's a good attempt by Kristen Press and Lindsay Horan, and that was a really good assist by Kristen Press. It was really, really close. I said a few times, US stop losing the ball. And then finally, a nice goal by Kristen Press and a great assist by Julie Ertz. Kristen, I don't know how she does it, but Kristen can get completely open like she was in this part of the game. She was completely open. No one was marking her, and she was able to just get it in very easily. So US 4-1. But New Zealand is quick to get it back to the US goal. There's a great save by Nair. Yeah, like I said, US's defense needs to tighten up. Very strong attacking teams like Sweden, the Netherlands, Sweden, the Netherlands, and I think even Australia. Yeah, they really need to tighten up the defense. Really good attacking teams, or teams that are very focused on attack, will take advantage of a weak defense, as we've seen Sweden do. Anyway, there's a corner for defense needs to tighten up, stop leaving players open. They really need to mark players. A corner for New Zealand that gets kicked away. Substitutions, Macario comes in for Lindsay Horan, who had a really great game. Casey Kruger comes in for Crystal Dunn. 88 minutes in, US goal, Alex Morgan, with a wide assist from Kristen Press. US 5-1. So there's an attempt by Kristen Press, but it goes high over the net. There's a second attempt from Kristen Press in the added time that does go in. Apparently, I'm hearing that this was another own goal on New Zealand's part, but it honestly looked like Kristen had got it in. I don't know, but it gives the US another goal. So US 6-1. There were two own goals in this game against New Zealand. So yeah, US 6-1, and that's the end of the game. The US wins and finally gets their 3 points for the Olympics in their group. And I think it's over for New Zealand, unfortunately. I know they do have to play against Sweden. So yeah, I think it's over, sadly, for New Zealand. Anyway, going back to this game was very exciting. It's great to see the US getting back to where they were before, like seeing them maintain control, seeing them play aggressively, seeing them like keeping up that possession. But I did like it in this game. I liked it in this game, but I'm wondering if the US will be able to do that moving forward into the game against Australia or moving forward in the Olympics. I think the thing that's heavy on my mind is the Sweden game. The Sweden game was a very fast-moving, aggressive team. And so there are other teams that are like that are very fast-moving and aggressive. And so the thing that worries me is if the US can keep it up, keep up putting pressure on team, keep up the possession, keep up maintaining control, because that's what they need to do during these Olympic Games. If they can't do that, if they can't keep up the possession, if they can't take control of the game like they did in New Zealand, if they can't keep up control, then they are going to lose. The team, a faster moving team, is going to take advantage of them and score goals. But overall, this was a really good game between the US and New Zealand. Very fun to watch, very exciting. Not as anxiety-inducing like the game against Sweden. But overall, this was a really good game. I hope the US does well against Australia, and I hope they do win against Australia. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later. Oh yeah, and if you didn't see the game, I did a game review of Kansas City and North Carolina Courage. If you didn't see that, my video from this morning / the night before is also on my channel, so be sure to check out that as well. Alright, so that is all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.